good.
You set?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a clap sync. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. And I hit my head doing it.
Good.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. How you feeling, man?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you as well.
Appreciate you coming back and doing this.
Yes,
So just a little context for everybody. We did this back in like mid-August. We had talked about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have happened since then.
Yeah.
I'll probably put some clips in just to show you how your appearance is with your hair and like just see what it looked like. Because I know I have those clips somewhere.
Please.
But of course there was an issue.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you were gracious enough to come back.
For sure.
Bless me with your time. It's Tuesday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Man. Shout out to all the veterans out there.
Shout out to my vets, man. They're huge in our lives, man.
Yes, sir.
And want to introduce HARE. Go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody.
All right, man. Here we go. Round 2. But no, man, my name is HARE, Nashville native, still fairly new, I like to say. I've been here in Nashville since 2018. Long journey of moving up here and all like that, man. The reasons and all like that. I think I've talked about them enough and everything to where it's just like, people know. And if they don't know, I've always, share it. But I like to kind of talk about that more so, in person, because I realize that when I give people that testimony of how I got here and, where I'm at, where they meet me and all, I always get the compliment of, you have such a light over you, and walk with peace. So yeah, I have a lot of peace in me now from the time of moving up here and just the time of transitioning, through the times and all like that, man. Oh man, let's see.
Pull up on the mic for me too, Skinny.
Yeah,
No,
for sure,
you're good.
Yeah. Photographer, visual artist. I would say the term multidisciplinary is more so like for people that do multiple mediums and all. I feel like with my photography though, it is multidisciplinary because I don't just shoot one thing, I'm capturing my world around me, people, places, things, the mundane specifically and especially. Like I said, the things that are often overlooked by us on a daily basis, daily walk of life and all like that. So that's always just been my motive with, photography and expressing my art through expressing myself.
Something I was thinking about earlier before you were coming in, I was like, I really love the way he frames things, but I also love the composition just overall.
Yeah.
Like from how you grade it and all that, but then like what you're shooting and how you make it, you just give it so much life.
Yeah.
Where did all that sort of come from?
Man, that just comes from being observant, like I'm observant of one specific thing that's in a frame. Like it is funny to say this, but like I would say maybe about 60% of my photos that I take and all, like the ones that are like of different surroundings and all, I take those from my car. You know what I mean? Like I give you an example. So the other day, I think it was a Saturday or Sunday, I got up and drove around East Nashville. No, it was Sunday because I went to run some errands and all before the work week. And I just drove around East Nashville, stopped by a coffee shop. It's called Ugly Mugs, and I didn't take my camera in there, but it was my first time going in there. So great coffee. That's a shameless plug for them. But I drove around and I just observed like the autumn essence that was, over there and that was presented to me. And there was one specific shot that I took and I'll send it to you and all so you could throw that in there.
Right here, baby. Exactly. There's a reason there's a space in the middle.
For sure. But there was this one specific one that there was a house for rent and it was on Eastland. And it was beautiful. Like the whole entire yard and the sidewalk was just covered in these gold and bronze yellow leaves and all the fall leaves. And I took the photo and I said, that's not enough. And then I noticed a person that was riding a bike that was coming up that direction. I said, okay, let's just wait it out. And literally I was parked on the side of the road across from there, hazard lights on and everything, waiting, and got that perfect shot. So it's just really about like observing the surroundings and all, but then it's just like you might have something come into the frame, whether you know it or not, and it just gives it more character. So again, this has always been about like observing things around me. Like I said, and this is the thing too, people drive by there, like during that time of me sitting there, I noticed cars driving right past it and everything. And I'm pretty sure people like observe it and say, oh, that's beautiful. But to stop and document it, because the thing is, it's just like a saying that's been popping in my head as of late is here today, going tomorrow, you know? And I've noticed that over the course of time of me, living here and going through the motions of capturing the seasonal essence of fall and autumn, which is, of course, my favorite season because it's so calm. It's calming, It's very melancholy to me as well, too. But, when you see those leaves and everything and all, it just does something to me, like just the emotional side and even the spiritual side and all. It takes me back to a place in my childhood where it was just like, of course, we always say like things were so much simpler when we were kids and all like that.
I was going to ask like the observant side, like, because, we all have different characteristics coming up or like, not only the observation, but the be like, okay, I'm going to wait and document and like having that patience. Was that something you got coming up, like where you're from?
Yeah, definitely. Because where I'm from, it's not, fast moving and all. And by the way, I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia, the Garden City. I love to always say hometown of our hero, James Brown. But yeah, it's always been slow moving, and that's to some people it's, a good thing and it's a bad thing. I understand like, people have the mindsets of where they grew up in, the city life. Like you look at someone or meet someone that's from New York, they're used to the fast pace and all. And then for me, it's like I had that mix of light city, but more rural, and I say even moving here to Nashville was a big transition because it's like, yeah, I lived in Atlanta and all, and even the parts of Atlanta that I lived in, it was, kind of the same mix of Augusta, where it's not like too fast paced and all, but until you get into the inner city parts and all, of course. But even like my time living in Atlanta and all, for me, it didn't seem so fast paced, and I think that's because of just how I move. I'm not on that hustle and bustle type of mindset and everything. It's like, nah, just take things one step at a time. You'll get there when you get there. Like traffic and everything. Yeah, it's butt to butt traffic, but you'll get there when you get there.
They've always talked about how Nashville and Atlanta have terrible drivers. Nashville's just slow driving, Atlanta's fast driving.
Yeah. Nashville is very slow driving, man. I've realized my road rage comes out a lot more and everything. But then when I do go back, to Atlanta and I'm driving, the road rage doesn't kick in as much and all and that you're right. And it's like, yeah, I realize that, it's just like, it's the patience game, of course, but it's maneuvering as well. It's like how do you maneuver through
Gotta have that sixth sense.
Yeah, you
That
really
traffic
have
sense.
to, man. Listen, you on those, you on 285, man, and I-20, man, you racing the Hellcats and the Scats and all, man. Listen, they they something else, man. You'll get caught up too, man. That's why I got my first ticket first ever ticket.
Here?
Back in Georgia, Atlanta.
Were you racing?
Nah,
I mean,
I was just trying to get
not
home.
racing, allegedly.
I was in Atlanta, man, and I was up there for a day trip, and I was trying to get back to Augusta, man, before it got like too dark and everything, because I had something to do late on that evening, and I got a super speeding ticket, 120. Going 120, man.
Good Lord.
Yeah, they hit me out in Washington County. And I remember the state trooper, he was like, hey, you didn't see me on that overpass? I told him, I said, look, man, out of respect.
I didn't see anything.
I wasn't even trying to look up there, man. But he was like, hey, you can pay that ticket online when you get home, or you can come back here. And I looked over the side. Funny enough, where he stopped me at, I looked over the side like an overpass, and there was a courthouse right there, a little small white building and all like that. I was like, oh, nah, I'll pay this. I said, I'm paying this as soon as I get home, man.
Hey, I got Wi-Fi. I can do this.
Listen, for real, man, for real.
So, and you kind of talked about how like slow pace growing up, kind of like just, because I don't really have that hustle bustle either. I'm like, I'm kind of taking it as it is. Nashville really kind of in the beginning when I was young we called it a big town just because it was like slow pace and all that. And so like kind of see how it's just became this. It's always been a music beast, but like just to see like, okay, now like with all like the social media injection or like the fast pacedness of how everything can just like rise, it's crazy to see like all the people who want to come here and make dreams happen.
Yeah, it really is, man. And it's like I remember first moving here. Before moving here, though, we visited a few times, and this was back in 2016 and 2017. And I remember seeing like I can't remember which buildings exactly, but I know they were the ones pretty much like downtown. I would say even right there on like I want to say it might have been one of the hotels. I don't know if it was the Westin or what, but anyway, these big buildings and all that we see now every day. I remember seeing those going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is big.
Oh, yeah.
This city has been
It's
big.
it's becoming a modern city.
Yeah, and I want to say, was that 2018 or 19 or so when they had the NFL draft?
Oh, drafts?
Yeah.
I think it was 19. I could be lying. It was.
Yeah, man. That was crazy to see. So it's just like, man, you've been here for maybe a year or less than a year, and they already have the draft. And I remember my dad called me. And he asked me, he said, man, you going downtown to the draft? And I said, no. I was like, no, I'm good. Because I wasn't too familiar with, like, Broadway at the time. And it was 19. Because I remember I was working nights. And maybe I was working evening at that time as well, too. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe I was working evening. But I was working at a plant. And we had a TV in our control room. And we were watching it on the TV. And we just saw the crowd, and I was like, man, that's crazy.
Big party.
And at that time, I lived on West End. So, granted, grateful that I didn't have to go through that and everything, but just getting that experience, too, of living, in the vicinity of, a very, very close vicinity of, downtown Broadway and right across from Vanderbilt, right across from Centennial and all. And like I said, I lived there for years. And it was great, having the convenience of just walking right out my building and walking over to Centennial and whatnot and everything. I didn't take it, take advantage of it as much, but when I did, it really made sense. It made a lot of sense. But, yeah, prayers to the ones that still live in that vicinity, man, because it's crazy. I actually just came from over West End and all, so I got like a glimpse of how it looks now and everything since moving from there a few months ago and whatnot. Nothing's changed much, but it's still the same thing.
It's still wild for me because like that's where I grew up. Like I grew up in Hillsborough Village.
Yeah.
Like they got VHS camcordings of me in a stroller going down like Pancake Pantry Road. And it's nuts because you look down going up to Vandy and there's no buildings there.
Yeah.
It's just flatland.
Yeah.
And now like even like talking about like I drive here from over like off like the Natchez Trace side, and like even then like when I'm coming home and it's wild to see all the college students are moving through here and like there's like actual like activity. That reminds me of Chicago. It's like, oh, this is a city now. Like people are actually out here doing stuff. And,
oh yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Nashville is a really beautiful city, man. And I think too, it's just like when you do come here, you come here with everyone comes here with their different motives and whatnot. Being in the music industry, being a creative, finding a community and whatnot. I know for me, I came here with kind of no motive at all. If I had a motive, the motive was just to come here, find comfortability, and just maintain it. Maintain that peace and just get what I can get out of it. Through my passion and just speaking of that, like just with my photography journey and all, when I moved here, I was already on a break from it. So I didn't get back into it until 2020. And ever since then, like I look at it now, 5 years later, just through that time, I've had some super, super great experiences and met some awesome people. And now it's to that point now where I'm like, all right, this was the first ever like official group exhibition that I'm a part of, and it's 5 years later. And it was definitely worth the wait. It could have been sooner, but I never stick to that, or I never stay on that could have, would have, should have thing. It's like, hey, if it didn't happen at that time, it's a reason,
Absolutely.
And I think it's more so the reason is, you're not fully prepared. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can show the art and everything, but, are you ready to be approached by people, to talk about it? With everything that you have going on right now, with all the weight on you and everything, are you really ready to openly discuss with people and talk about it? But not only that, give people your true self. And I feel like at that time, too, I wasn't my true self because I was going through situations where it was definitely creating a big smoke cloud.
I got a friend, shout out Habiki. We were talking about this. We send voice memos over Instagram to each other, and I was telling her, like, it's so, we're all trying to figure our stuff out and all that. And she sent me a couple voice memos. Like, I'm trying to do like a pseudo interview with her too.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm really trying to do my hardest to be seen as myself.
Yeah.
And like not sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not diminish it for anybody or any sort of setting. Like I'm going to be here myself fully, and you accept it or not. And that's kind of, part of finding your community. Like I think, finding you got to be ready professionally and personally to be able to put yourself out there. You also need to find people to trust. And I'm assuming we're talking about the render exhibition.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about this.
Yes, man, the render exhibition. Much love and shout out to Taylor and Hannah. They are the duo that created Made for Nashville, Made for Concept, and partnered with Nashville Design Week. And this is my first time like attending anything, and it's crazy now we talk about that because, I'm learning to give myself more grace, when it comes to the things that I do. Cause I look at it like, it's not to say like it's not a big deal, but I'm just a person like, this. I'm very humble and modest when it comes to like talking about myself. But when I look at this, I'm like, nah, you didn't just attend Nashville Design Week. You were a part of it. You know what I mean? So that's still like after several days now, that's something that I'm still like grasping. You know what I mean? And just put up a post about it last night as well too, man. And I looked at it again this morning, and I was like, oh, I got to do some revisions on like the caption and everything like that, because when it comes to just expressing like my feelings, emotions, thoughts, and everything verbally, I kind of like skip stone to stone and stuff like that, man. I might slip a few times and everything on the wet stone and whatnot. So I go back and read it. I'm like, that sounds like crap. I mean, let me fix that.
I was looking at my SoundCloud captions this year. I was like, oh, these are just so corny.
And then it's just like, I'm all, that's a beautiful thing too, man, as far as like, when it comes to things like that, man, is, you can always go back and revise things. Nothing is ever, this is me and my art mindset. Nothing is ever like that final version, unless you say it is. But something is always going to be worth a revision and all, because you're going to have, a different outlook, a different mindset, a different viewpoint of what it is that you either said, created, and all. Well, yeah, created, whether it's visually or verbally and whatnot. But the render exhibition, man, was beautiful. 77 plus artists under one roof.
Where was it? Where was it at?
This was at this venue called Whitehall. It's out in East Nashville, and that was a beautiful venue, man. It's a super beautiful venue. I remember I first seen it when I went to drop off my piece a few days before. No, yeah, the day before actually. It was the day before. Yeah, I went to drop it off. I don't want to say how I dropped it off, but I went and dropped it off, and I met Hannah first, and then I met Taylor. Funny enough, I was in communications with them via Instagram and on their text line as well too, just asking about like, different things leading up to the time and whatnot, as far as like, ticketing and everything like that. But they were great. Like, just the first impression and all, and then what they shared with me, like I was one of the first few that submitted, answer to the open call. And also, too, I got to thank my homegirl, Liz, of Slow Drip Coffee. She was the one that pushed me to, answer to the open call.
Did she throw you the alley-oop? Did she show you it?
No, she did. She did. We were at the loading dock, and they were just having a meetup over there. And I said, I haven't seen Liz in a while. Let me just stop by and everything. So we sat down and everything. We talked, and it was her friends as well too and all. So I got to meet a lot of them as well. And just kind of all like introduce ourselves and everything and whatnot. And, I kind of always get like, I don't know, cringy when people say, yeah, this is HARE. He's an amazing photographer, this, that. Like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, she threw me the alley-oop. She threw me the alley-oop, man. And her, like people like her, my partner Deshaun, as well as another great photographer here of the Edge Hill region, Edge Hill origin. He's always giving me alley-oops and everything, open calls and all. And I told him before too, like, hey man, look, I appreciate you sending me all these open calls, man. I feel like I'm not doing my due diligence when it comes to going about it and everything. But he's always like, nah, man, look, whenever you're ready, it's like I just throw them out there and everything because I know there's something that's going to, interest you. I'm just doing my diligence as, a supporter and everything like that. So I always appreciate him for doing that too.
That kind of stuff is so crucial because like I feel like most of us get our news from the social media timeline or like, we're going on the internet, but there's just a flood of it and our algorithms are trained to give us what we want. And so having those people out there who be like, hey man, like, here you go. You might think about it.
And it shows too, man, that it's like, we could be in the same field and all, but it ain't competition. It's not. It's all about, because one thing about me that I've always said and I always stick true to is, if a spotlight is given to me, I'm going to find a way to share it with the next person, to share it with someone who I view as an inspiration, who I view as, a motivator, and who I feel is also deserving of that spotlight and that, recognition and everything for what they do. So, that's just something that I've always done.
Just pouring back into their cup, bro.
Yeah, just pouring back into the cup, man, because it's like I was telling somebody recently that I met at, Render and all. Like, as long as I've been doing photography and visual arts and all like that, man, I've never had a mentor. You know what I mean? I've never had a mentor, And the thing about it is that I always felt like I needed a mentor. This is early on, But, of course, it's like my journey of, photography and visual arts, it came from my due diligence of doing research and trial and error, So I never I never took no class or nothing, if YouTube University counts and everything like that. But, even with that, my attention span is so short. So I'm like, all right, let's get to the good part. Like, come on.
What's the fun shit?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the good shit at? So then my attention span just says, all right, man, turn this shit off. We're finna just go outside and just give it a shot and everything. And I say, like, over that time, when I think about, like, my previous work and now, there's some similarities to it. But it's also been a shift. It's been a big shift, of course. Again, it's I've always been about observing, but now I'm more like, when I observe, I go more in depth to it, because I try to find that, I stick to that what, when, and why. You know what I mean? The what, when, and why. And those are questions that I ask myself that I haven't always, like, really found the answer to. And that's cool because I feel like the answers aren't going to come abruptly and all. And I feel like if the answers did come abruptly, then I'll say, I'm done, But no, as long as I'm living, as long as I'm breathing, no, not done.
That's part of the journey. I feel like the answers come with the trial and error.
Yeah, for sure. The answers come with the trial and error. You're exactly right, man. But man, yeah. Oh, the render joint, man. So again, 77 plus artists, man. I
Crazy.
have to say that again because
Nuts.
it's like it was so much stuff, man. And
Are they all from? Sorry, are they all from Tennessee?
So there's, I would say the vast majority was from Tennessee. We did have some that, from what I've seen, like on the socials and all, and just seeing people's profiles and all like that, there was some that was like outside of Nashville as well. There was actually a few SCAD graduates, Savannah College of Art and Design graduates and all, and I met one of them. Her name is Sierra. Shout out to Sierra. Sierra is amazing. And funny story about her is she was one of the first people that followed me on Instagram during like the build up and the promotion of Render. And I looked at her profile and saw SCAD. I was like, oh wow. So that entire night, again, meeting everybody. Like I'm not taking anything from anybody. Meeting all the people that I met and make connections with, and exchange like contacts with and all. They were all highlights of that night. But her specifically, that was the biggest highlight because I saw her piece and I was looking for her that entire night because I wanted to meet her and just shower her with gratitude and appreciation and all because she shared a lot of my stuff and I shared a lot of her stuff, building up to it. And I didn't meet her until the end of the event. I walked up to, I think it was Taylor. I asked Taylor, I said, Taylor, is Sierra here? I said, I've seen her art, but I have not met her. I said, I have to meet her before I leave. So we, and Whitehall, it's a 2-story. So we looked over the ledge and she pointed out, she said, yes, she's down there with the red jacket. I said, perfect. I gave her a hug and I said, hey, thank you again. I'm about to go meet her before she leaves and whatnot. And I remember walking up to her. She was talking with 3 of her friends, and I didn't like to be rude, but
But I will.
I will, exactly. So as soon as I tapped on her shoulder, I said, you're Sierra, right? She said, yeah. Gave her a hug. I said, I'm here. She said, oh my God. And like, I felt like both our knees just buckled because we knew that, it was destined for us to meet, of course. And dude, we stood there for like 10, 15 minutes just having a conversation. Now, I'm drunk on my mind, so I don't know what the hell I was saying. But I said, first off, I shower her with gratitude, love, and everything, man, and just told her how appreciative I am, of her and, what she's done and her impact that she had on me. Again, this is a total complete stranger and all like that. But as artists, dude, like our emotions are all over the place. But when you are a fellow artist, you know where they're coming from. You know what I mean? So it was just a beautiful moment. You know what I mean? It was just such a beautiful moment just to, connect with her, talk with her and everything and just, tell her thank you and all like that.
When
man.
it gets off the timeline, it's crazy. Because like when we went to San Diego for the first time, like we all got to meet like the DJ homies like in person and got to like spend 3-4 days with each other.
Yeah.
It was kind of uncanny just how much we see all this stuff on social media as artists too, and a lot of that that 10-year process or whatever the process, you find all those the sort of the answers for what you're looking for, and you know how you want to present yourself and how you want to act, and what your art's going to be.
Yeah.
And then once you start moving in conversations with people like that, it's like oh, this is a language that everybody speaks.
Yeah. No, truly it is, man. And even like during that time too of like approaching the other artists and all and just talking with them, I realized too how that trust factor is kind of like already there. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about this last night and all because I was like coming into the interview, I was like, I want to say some witty stuff and all, but then I was like, nah, you know what? Just freestyle it, man. So I was thinking about this last night and just how when you meet people along the way of your journey and all, or your respective journeys, we all, like our art form and all, and just the passion that is derived, that's been derived, it all comes from similar walks of life. You know what I mean? And it's like I met one of them. Her name is Mackenzie. Mackenzie is super awesome, man, and she's a photographer as well. I remember walking around and I saw her setup, and it was just amazing. You know what I mean? She had smaller prints, and they were all like stationed, you know, in symmetry. And then she had one big piece that was next to it. But the images, they were so cinematic, you know, and they were self images of her. And it really looked like something that was really out of a movie scene, you know. And when I looked at the style of it, I said, damn, we have very similar styles. And that's crazy, you know. Not crazy, but it was just such a breath of fresh air to see that. You know what I mean? So when I talked with her about it, and I like to as a person that doesn't like to be put on the spot, I'm so good at putting other people on the spot. So I said, look, break this down to me. I wanna go into your mind. You know, you break this down. And she had like so in the photos of her, she had on this dress, and she had the dress on display as well too, with written poems attached to them and all. Dude, it was amazing. You know what I mean? It was so amazing. And then it's like seeing that, and again, the prompt for the render was the art of process. So pretty much it's you showing, you know, every piece and every detail to what it is that is being displayed. So, you know, hers was among my favorites. You know, I had several favorites in there, but hers is like among that. Hers is like top two for sure. Top two display, man. And I remember talking with her, and she was just sharing, you know, with me as far as like, you know, the inspiration behind it, and you know, even like just her personally and all, like, you know, your upbringing and all. Like, she was a homeschool girl and all like that.
Yeah.
And then she had a poem that was that she had wrote that was posted on her Instagram and all. That was with it was an older post, and I've read it this morning actually, and it was just beautiful to read. You know, it was beautiful to read. But when you meet people along those ways, man, it's like, you know, we're always looked at like weird and this and that and all, but no, we embrace it. You know what I mean? So I remember seeing that, and I will tell her next time too, like, hey, I read your poem. That was beautiful. Embrace it. Embrace, you know, being weird, being the weird homeschool girl, you know, and
I was the weird kid growing up.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
we all listen. We all are, and we all were, and I feel like still to this day, you know, we all still have that within us, because for me, and my viewpoint of it is that's what makes us unique. You know, that's what sets us apart from everyone else around us and all. You know, like, I never liked the whole be too cool type of, you know, energy and all like that. Like I said, I've seen that enough. I go in these spaces where I was around people, you know, and I've seen that, and typically it's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna vibe with you, so I'm gonna just say my what's up and just keep it moving.
and it's really just put a piece into it's kind of like goes back to like going back to the mentor talk and being like, you know, we never really had these things, because I'm the kind of the same way. I'm like, you know, because I was making beats and writing and all that, and I was like, there's no real teacher for somebody, you know, in my space for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, you got to go figure this out. And I think a big piece of it is going through that path and then realizing it, but then also just being that person to champion those people whenever, like, just out of, you know, I think that's kind of the weird stuff, like, that people, or not necessarily the weird, but what people would define it as is like championing somebody is like the anti too cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're always, you know, being buck, like, let's go. And
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
It is, man, and you know, it's of course you know, we know the term for that and everything, the deriding and all like that, but it's not. It's not, man, because the thing is, it's just like what you said earlier. You know, you're pouring into people and all, and it's like, dude, I get more satisfaction when I pour into people, because you never know when you pour into people or you pour into someone and all, you never know how much they need it. Like one of the things that has been said from everyone that I've met, like during that render event and all, where they either, DM me, comment or whatever. And, too, like when I post them, it's rare to see my comments open. I like to close the comments and all like that because I don't really want to see no fire emoji and all that other shit, man. But, everyone that I've met, they tell me how they're so grateful that they met me that night and it was a highlight of the night and whatnot. And I was like, damn. So it's making me realize, like, damn, I do have like a warm impact on people. Like I do have a great impression on people and whatnot. And it's just me being myself.
Here for a reason.
Yeah, it's just me being myself, man. And again, it's just like I love to pour into people. You know what I mean? But it just goes back to you never know how much they need it until you do it and they express it and all.
When I was young growing up, and this is kind of a piece of language that I've said, and I think I said this the last time we talked, was like all we needed was one or two people that like we respected in our craft when we were like in like that 13 to 16 range, just to be like, no, you got it. Like keep doing you. And it's not like you need I don't need the affirmation anymore. But at that time, I mean, young me might have needed it to keep going.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, because then, that's a great point to think about, man. Like, when we think about like our younger selves and all, and what it was like we were going through and enduring just in those younger ages and all. Like, dude, I didn't have no aspirations or ideas of on the camera one day and really taking this thing much further and whatnot to where I am now and everything like that. Like, yeah, during the during that MySpace time and stuff like that, man, the earlier Tumblr days or whatnot and all. I mean, yeah, everyone had a digital camera and everything like that. And I remember I was doing corny shit in my room, taking pictures of like myself with my sneakers or whatnot, and I was on photoshopping stupid shit in it and all like that, man, and trying to recreate the Lupe Fiasco with the cool album cover with
bro.
all my different shit and everything and whatnot. And I was like, oh, no, man. This like, Lupe made the shit look cool, man. I made this shit look corny as hell. But
that's my favorite rapper growing up, too, by the way.
We talked about it before. Listen, hey, I'm going to tell you, man, we're going to talk about music as well, too, man. I've been on the Wale bench as a late, man. Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from, but it's a lot of pieces of his music, man, that I listened to when it first came out, and even with that, you gain an appreciation for, a piece of art as you get older and all, and then you start to see, of course, like the changes, not to say changes, but the evolution. That's a better term to put it. The evolution of the artist, man, and Wale has always been one of my favorites because, for one, the fashion sense, the passion and love for sneakers, and it's like, yeah, you come off as a cool individual, but sometimes, I guess people say come off as an asshole as well too. And I think like his demeanor and his personality, like, is relatable, to me. And I say even to a sense of just like, you don't rarely ever see this dude. You know what I mean? He's super antisocial and all. And it's just like, nah, man, I want to do what I do, be at peace. And, when I pop out, I pop out,
He's also part of that, like the 2010 when it was where, they probably got mixed in the business and there were the people who were like, oh, I don't like this. Yeah. And then they were like, I'm going to dip out, but they still have their material and want to do it on their own terms. And like, I'm only going to come outside when I want to be outside.
Exactly. So, yeah, man, I've been on the bench with Wale, man. And I was listening to the album About Nothing this morning, man. And that first track, it's like gospel. You know what I mean? That first track is like gospel, dude. And it's just something to get your day started. So I was listening to that on the way over here. And, he's an amazing artist, man. Super amazing. But yeah, man, I'm still on the high from the whole render thing, man. I really am. It was beautiful. And then too, of course, I have another one coming up.
Another exhibition?
Yeah.
Hey.
It's a good friend of mine, Eve, reached out to me. I don't know how much I can say about it, but I'll just say that it's going to be a great one.
Do you have a date? You can tell me after if you want.
Yeah. It's gonna be in December. I don't know. I really don't know the exact date yet, but it's I'd say, man, when she reached out to me, I was at work and she sent me a message, text message, and was like, "Hey, I got this exhibition coming up next month. I want you to be a part of it." And she said I could send you an email about it. I said, "Okay, yeah, send the email." So she sent the email. I was reading through it and read the prompt and was like, "Oh shit, this is perfect.
You're talking to me right now."
Yeah, this is perfect, and I appreciate her for even thinking of me. And that goes to where it's like, we mentioned as far as like with social media and all. I would say specifically Instagram for sure. Of the teeter totter and the back and forth of, man, do I need this? But it's presenting great things, great opportunities and whatnot. I'm meeting great people, making great connections and all.
But my soul is being crushed.
But my soul is being crushed by everything. Sorry, y'all. The political nature of things, like the political fire.
Shit, you don't need to apologize.
Yeah, I know, man. Look,
I think a lot of us are tired.
We are, man. And listen, I'm gonna just say this, man. When it comes to that, it's several reasons why I don't talk about politics or I don't delve into politics, and it's because you ever just sit and think, like, when you look at some of these posts and all, and then you see how many comments they have, like 7,000, 10K plus comments and all, it's just like, do we really need to put our 2 cents in on everything? You know what I mean?
People just want to put fire emojis up, like you said, man.
Yeah, it's like we don't
put my username in these comments.
Like it's like that's going to really do something, and most of the time too, man, if it even gets to that point and all, because you got so many trolls on the internet, and now the trolling is even intensified even more because of the utilization of AI. So
I was even going to say, it seems like Instagram's algorithm has even gone to like, if you have like AI stuff used, you're going to be pushed.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get pushed. And if you're doing original stuff, I don't know if you noticed it, like,
oh, yeah,
you're going to get reduced visibility.
I have, man. And, I'm saying this now, and then I'll be damned if I pick my phone up and go to my Explore page and it changes because I know Siri's listening to me. Yeah. But my Explore page now, it's exactly how I want it. It's nothing but photos. It's nothing but photographs. I love sneakers, but I don't always want to see what's finna come out. You know what I mean? I like to be surprised and everything like that. Like, and plus too, I mean, I haven't really been in that mode to even buy anything, honestly, as well too. But even with the sneakers and all, man, I put like not interested. I'm not interested. So literally my For You page or Explore page or whatnot is literally photographs. Yeah, it might be some AI stuff mixed in there and everything like that, but I know the real from the artificial. You know what I mean? But yeah, the doom scrolling for sure. Oh my God,
story of my life, bro.
Yeah, doom scrolling, man, is dangerous, man. It is super dangerous. But yeah, it's like you said, dude. With the stuff that's going on in the world, with the politics and everything, man, people are tired, and it's just like, look, man. I always ask the question, what can you do? And it's like, yeah, you can do what some people would deem to be the little bit, but it's going to have a big impact, of course. And I think for the most part, man, and again, this is just me speaking off the top of my head, man, focus on local, focus on local, because you can't put all your attention and focus on what's going on so many miles away at this big white house that's half of that shit is damn near knocked off now to make a gold ballroom and shit like that, you know. Like I said, all that stuff, I don't know what the hell that guy's doing, but
to jump off of your community thing, I think it was when 2016 hit, because I used to really be interested in like how like the politics shaped out, and then 2016 is when it all shifted, and it seemed like the second time around after he got elected, I was like, you know what, you got to start pouring back into your community, because like on a national level, like, you know, we can all like get together to vote and like make our voice be heard, but the things that's going to affect you on your day-to-day life are you and your community and your local area, your creative scene, who the people you work with.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
you got to pour into them.
Yeah, you have to. There's like I said, there's a lot of great things that of course, like I said, when I pay attention to social media, I see you know, local businesses and whatnot doing some great things. Shout out to Music City Vintage. They're going to have a turkey drive.
Nice.
And all.
And you see a lot of people like doing like SNAP benefit stuff. Yeah, you know, like raising food, raising money for SNAP benefits.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, canned food donations and all. Like you said, just pouring into the community, man. And, you know, it's like, if we're going to do our part, man, do your part in your community.
And don't half-ass it, bro.
Yeah,
you got to actually give a shit about these people.
You have to, because I think back to, you know, my time of living in Augusta and everything, man, and, you know, having family in those projects, and there was one Project Homes that was, you know, one of the top 3 for sure. That was down the street from my church. Damn, it's been so. That's bad too. Sunset, that's what it is. Sunset Homes, man. Sunset Homes was one of the, like, if you think of like J.C. Napier here, that's what Sunset Homes is in Augusta, you know, or was. But they changed it because, of course, you know, they found ways to slowly gentrify my hometown, which I never thought that we would ever see that. But they did it. I would say they did it for a purpose. You know, you have older families, you have older people who, you know, they struggle as well too, you know, with housing and whatnot. So they did convert all those homes and units and all and they catered more to the, you know, senior citizens, the elderly and whatnot. But then also the families that have, you know, various, or not say various, but large families and all, you know, single mothers and whatnot. They still cater to them as well too. But I remember going back home a few years back and drove past them. It was like, wow, that looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, but shit's different now.
But it's beautiful, and I love the fact that they, you know, did with it what they did. You know, so
you don't hear that a lot about the gentrification talk. You don't hear a lot of the positive side.
And
and granted, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of racial stuff that goes with gentrification.
It is a lot, man. It is truly a lot. Like another example, Old Fourth Ward in Atlanta. Old Fourth Ward now is more so an art district now and everything. So that goes to, you know, what I've like always had in my mind when I've seen this. It's like, yeah, there's pros to it, but there's also cons as well too, because if you do this, you have to at least, this is just my viewpoint and my take of it, is if you're going to gentrify an area, or if you have the intent to gentrify an area, you need to put the people first that are in that area that you're planning to gentrify. You need to have a plan for them.
Hell yeah.
You know, you can't just displace them. You can't just send them off.
Generations of families.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
You can't just send them way up to Clarksville. You know what I mean? Because now you got to think about the people who are from Clarksville now that they're going to have a different...
Changes the whole economic scene.
It does.
The social scene, all these things.
Yeah, the mindsets of people, man.
Different wants and needs are needed out there.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, I can talk about this all day, but I'll just say, man, I'll just end on this note when it comes to gentrification, man, because I know it's a very sensitive topic and subject, man. Is the people that's, you know, heading this thing and all like that, man, make a plan for the people that's already there, you know, like don't displace them. They have, they're nothing, they're not less than the people who you want to inhabit that area, you know. Like, I don't care if you want to move in, future Grammy nominated whoever, they're the people that's already there. They're nothing less than
People see flesh tone and religion as like okay, substandard. It's
man.
like he wore the John Dre wore the jumpsuit. It's like people across different cultures of darker skins are patronized more.
Yeah, man.
I'm butchering it, but
We'll
put the picture up.
That's true, man. That's true. It's have a plan. Have a plan for the people, man.
Yeah.
Don't look at them as like, easily replaceable and all like that. No. They have a life as well too, and that's something that we have to, we have to cherish that more. We have to cherish people more.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
People more, man.
Damn.
But yeah, man. But look, you asked me a lot of questions, man. What's going on with you, man?
Well, you hit a bar on me. Damn.
I told you I like put people on the spot, man.
No, shit. Yeah, you're right. Damn. I mean, I guess kind of in the same vein as you, I moved recently. I moved to my dad's house out of my mom's house, trying to find more short-term living situations.
Yeah.
And so kind of like how we were talking about, like, that sort of transition period is one thing. I got a promotion here. I'm now.
Congrats, man.
We're going to redact this part, but I'm the director of the live department now. And
congrats. Yeah, clap it up.
Yeah, I'll clap myself too, baby.
At least put the claps in there.
No, exactly. So it's, it's more work to do. It's I really wanted to move up and just like, do more than what I was doing before. And so I'm really, honestly blessed that I got the opportunity to.
For sure.
It's been great, because I made great, like, so at this place that we're at is the Musicians Union, and I'll probably bore that too, just because I don't want people to know where I work.
Oh, yeah.
But you meet a lot of the musicians in town who like are either doing live stuff or on sessions and all that, and I created good relationships with them just from sitting up front.
Yeah.
And so it's great people to work for. I really like my coworkers a lot. Like, there's about 10 people who come here every day, and we didn't give out, but we helped administer probably like, I think it was $14 million last year in recording. Yeah, like recording like check money, union money. And so it's, they're hustlers in the back.
That's awesome, man.
And it's just cool. Like, kind of like this is a super community thing.
Yes,
like
awesome.
super local.
That's awesome.
Where, BMI's across the street. And it's not like we fight these people or anything, but we are here to ensure that, they're treating their musicians fairly. Yeah. Or like, if they're having some music go somewhere that, we have, authority of, that the people who are on those contracts are getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, it's much more down to earth. These are probably the most salt of the earth people I'm going to interact with if I want to stay in music. I hate the music industry. Like, I hate it, dude. Love the people. I love all these people here on this level. Yeah. Outside of it, hate it.
And that's totally understandable, man. Like, just to share input on that sentiment, man, is whatever industry you're in, you're going to have, those. You're going to have those moments where, of course, you love it and you hate it. And just from listening to what you just said, I feel like a lot of that comes from the people who you cross paths with.
Yeah.
It's the people, because it's like when you ask them, what are you in this for? You know what I mean? What do you want to get out of this? Some people want, some people want a lot of money from it. Some people want an instant payday from it. You know what I mean? They don't want to put in the work.
They don't want to put in 5 years of work.
Yeah, but want the instant payday from it.
That
whole
whole instant gratification too is.
Man. No, it doesn't work that way. And it's like I was mentioning earlier, man. Is dude. The whole thing with the exhibition too. And like I said, I know we're like jumping lanes and stuff like that, man. But when I think back to like I said in my post recently, is the exhibition and the opportunity just gave me another reason to keep going and to keep doing what I love to do. And again, last night I was just sitting with myself and just having so many thoughts, and just having like those moments of self-gratitude. And I told myself in that moment, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. The fact that you never gave up and you kept doing what you're doing, you kept believing in yourself first and foremost, you put that time in, you see what comes from it, you know. And it's again, like, dude, I tell people, man, like, I've been dabbling in photography, man, since 2009, 2010, you know, and that was just in the beginning of just like, okay, this is a hobby, you know, like I'm working at I'm working at Foot Action and all in the back, you know, we got my camera, this big ass Canon T2i and all like that, man, and well, this is a little after that, but this was in college first, and I'm taking pictures of sneakers and all like that, you know, of all my sneakers and whatnot, and you know, meeting people on campus and stuff like that, and just taking pictures of them and whatnot, you know, and it's like, hey, this, you know,
Well,
this
that's
is
how you get
fun.
your name out there, too.
Yeah,
Especially in
yeah.
college. Like, if you're out there shooting, people are like, oh, is he flicking up? Like, who's this guy?
For
You know?
sure, you know.
Oh, he's got nice feet. What's he got? I'm like,
Yeah. So when I see like, you know, when I see like in today's like social media realm and world and universe or whatnot, I can't remember. I don't remember the guy's name or remember his name, but he's in Atlanta. I wish I could find his name, but I came across him, and what he does is he goes on his college campus. I think he goes to Morehouse, and he goes on his college campus. He meets people with fits and everything like that. He takes portraits of them and all like that. And they're great, you know, and he's built a large, very, very large following, you know, off of that. And something like that, man, that's beautiful because it's like, you know, we said with community, you know, you're on a college campus, that's your community, you know, and you're meeting these people, they're in their respective walk of life, you in your walk of life and all, but you find that way to shed light on them, but it's also shedding light on you as well. But yeah, that's before even like how I just explained it, just my viewpoint of it. That's what I was doing, but I didn't know that was what I was doing. You know what I mean? It was just more so a thing of just like making friends, you know, like, hey, this the antisocial kid and all, you know, the chubby kid and everything with the cool sneakers on and all like that, walking around this college campus, taking pictures of people and whatnot and everything, you know. Like I said,
it's being young and following the energy.
yeah.
Like, that's like, you, like, my dad is the one who's always championed, like, just follow where the energy takes you. And it's like, oh, like, you were young and don't know what you're doing, but you're just enjoying it and following it, and it's going to build something for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And this was back when I was going to Fort Valley, man, and through doing that, man, I met so many, you know, great people. You know, unfortunately, you know, we don't have contact now and everything because it's so many years later. But you know, I think about those people, you know, because again, I have a very, very in depth and sharp memory and all. But there was one one homie I met. Her name was Ashley. She was from that area actually, and I remember one weekend, dude, we just drove to Atlanta and all. You know, so she was like, man, she was cool. Like, I don't know if this even like. I really hope she's doing all right, for real, for real. No, she was super cool, man, and yeah, she used to always like go to Atlanta and everything. So you know, she was from around that area, that Warner Robins area. You know, her parents bought her a car and everything, a Volvo and whatnot. And I remember one weekend, she hit me up. She was like, "You want to go to Atlanta?" I was like, "Yeah,
Hell yeah.
let's do it." You know,
Just me and you?
yeah,
On drive? Yeah,
just
let's go.
yeah.
Screw it.
You, I got you on the gas and everything like
There you
that and
go.
whatnot and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, let's roll out, let's mob out, man. So, just made some like when I think back to just those times and all, man, of you know doing what I was doing in the early stages and all, and it fueling the passion that I have now and all. It all adds to the story, of course. You know, like I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for those times and those people and all. So I've always, you know, I always make sure that I give them that credit and that grace and all, man.
It's the journey. Finding those answers, bro.
It's the journey, man. And you know, now when I look at it now and everything, so yeah, going back to what I was saying, man, it's like doesn't matter how long it takes because again, you know, like I said, man, I've been in one gallery back in my hometown, and that was due to individual I worked with back home. Her name was Sandy. Shout out to Sandy. Sandy, she ran our artist co-op, and it was myself, a good friend of mine named Don, and AC, and some other individuals as well. But Don and AC were the two standouts for me because whenever we were there, it was always all three of us, all four of us, including Sandy, of course. But yeah, we were the ones that were always there. You know what I mean? And in house creating. So even times where we have like our art crawl, which was back then it was the first Friday art crawls, and it pretty much leads into that whole weekend as well too. But yeah, when we would have like those art crawls and everything back there, we were always in there, and I remember we had a first group show there, and it was amazing. Like Dawn is a paper cut illustrator. She's going on to make children's books and everything, man. Super awesome.
What year was all this stuff you were doing with them?
Dude, this was 2000. This was 2013, 2014.
Shit.
Yeah, 2013,
Golly.
2014.
It's also crazy too because I have such a similar thing where it's like you go and work with like you're a young person working on these creative communities, like you're just going off the cuff because you want to, and you start building all these not really teams, but you build these relationships with these people who become friends, and then we're these budding artistic individuals. Go off and do our own things. It's crazy when you circle back around and you see. I wonder what she's up to right now. Oh, damn, she's doing kids' books right now? She's like an illustrator and an author? Like, oh, that shit's crazy.
Yeah. And I can't remember the last time I was home. I don't think I got to see Dawn. Yeah, I don't think I got to see Dawn. I did see my partner, AC. AC is a great as well, too, man. He's an illustrator as well. He's a tattoo artist now. And he still does paintings and everything, too. But his stuff is like, when we talk about like hyper realism and all, that's what his stuff is. It is hyper realism, and I literally watched this guy start with a blank canvas, and within hours, it's a self portrait of someone, and it's like, dude, this looks like a photograph. It is that insane and
I've never had the ability to understand how people do that.
I haven't either, man.
Just oil paints.
Yeah, and it's like I didn't see this man take one drug or nothing. It was
That's how
amazing.
you know he's killing it, bro.
It's amazing.
The real killers
man.
are the sober ones.
Seriously, man. And then me just being the in-house photographer and all like that, man. One thing that for me I feel like has always set me apart, and this is like not even adding on to what people have shared with me, like their sentiments towards it, but it's just how I view things, how I view people, and like it's just like you might see it in your own way, but you can always alter it. You see it in this realm of the world, but in our minds, dude, we have so many different realms. There's so many different worlds. So it's just all about how you, display it and all. And then back then it was just like, I want to do something crazy. I want to, do some inversions and whatnot, and do some real like damn near horrorcore type stuff. So that's what we did. And the show was great, man. The show was amazing. It was called ACDC because, of course, AC, and then Don's last name is I think it's like Don Cordano or something like that. But yeah, ACDC. Nice. So it was a great show, man. And yeah, like I said, I know I'm switching lanes again, but that sentiment that I did want to share to anyone that is listening, if you're creative or just anything you do, any, field that you're in, if you felt like you haven't gotten that big break yet and all, it don't matter if you've been doing it for 10 years, 20 years or so, and all, you got to just keep doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to keep doing it. That break is going to come. Even with this, like the exhibition and all, like it was a great opportunity, but I know it's not that, it's not that real big break and everything. And like I said, it's not taking away anything from it, but it's just, that's the stepping stone. But that one is forever going to be the most monumental for me because it was the first one. And I say that too because I've met so many different artists and curators and everything here. One thing that I hate is someone coming up to me and saying, yeah, man, yeah, bro, we should work together. We should do this and do that and all, and it never happens. So now I'm just at that point now when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, all right, man, like, nah. And I have to stop myself too because I know I can be confrontational if I choose to, but I'm old, man. I'm older now, so it's like, it's not gonna do anything for me.
It's kind of what you were talking about earlier. Like, I forgot the context of it, but it's like he's a nice guy, but he can also be an asshole. Like,
much.
That's me. That's me. That's me.
Very much, man. Very much. And, you know, I have to make sure that I don't, you know, do it in a certain space and place and stuff like that, man, because it's like, that energy's not needed, you know.
I just don't need it in my day to day.
Nah, definitely not in the day to day, man. You know, and it's like, you know, if people say, hey, man, we should work together, do this and that. Like, I'm gonna say this now, man, with from this, and then the next one coming up, and then I'm also finna answer to an open call for Coop Gallery and all, and then also looking around at other different open calls as well too. So for me now, like right now, my day to day is getting on my laptop, going through hard drives. You know, I got a folder created where I'm sourcing off a lot of the work and everything, stuff that I want to see printed. You know, print work right now is vital and everything because it gives me a much deeper appreciation for myself and the work that I've done and just the journey, you know, and to see something that you created in the physical form versus in the digital form, because we see it digital. And I always have a tough time saying the word digitally, but in digital form. So, we always see it in digital form, but to see it in that physical form, framed, printed, and all, and then when it gets to being displayed alongside other great artists and all, man, it's like I had to stop myself.
It hits different.
And it's like, damn, that's crazy to see, you know? It's really crazy to see. It really hits different, man. So I also told my brother, man, shout out to Vash Roy. Yeah, Raph. But another great photographer here, man. He's by far my favorite, man. When I think about like all the photographers and all here that I met and all, man, he's by far my favorite. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, that's a brother to me and all like that, man. But he really, like, when it comes to the attention to detail, the passion behind it, man, like, it's unmatched. You know what I mean? It's unmatched. And too, the biggest thing with that too is, you know, if you have a skill set, and even throughout your journey you learn things through your skill set, and you're so open to sharing it and all because you already see like the person, you already see like how great they are at what they do, and you have something that you can offer to, you know, elevate it. That's what he did for me. You know what I mean? And I could probably say too, I've done the same thing for him as well. But again, he's just been a huge resource and huge inspiration to, you know, my creative journey as well, man. So I always got to shout him out and all, man. Like, dude is amazing. And he really put that bat in my back too, man, when it comes to like doing the cinematic visuals, you know, doing video recording and stuff like that, man, because and that dude there, man, he has some amazing work. His portfolio, which he's just like me, you know, you don't show off everything, but when that time comes and all like that, you know, you can show it off because he's got some stuff, man, where he could talk some big shit. You know what I mean? But, you know, again, he's just super humble. You know what I mean? Just like me. And yeah, we feed off each other, man, a lot. really do. We feed off each other a lot.
You need those people when
Yeah,
you're in
man.
whatever discipline.
Yeah, and yeah, him and my sister Daisy and all, man, like those two there, man, are like those two are my saving grace for real. they are my saving grace, man. You know, they really keep me on my toes for real. You know, so and again too, it's just like not even just from like the creative standpoint, man, but just a life standpoint too. You know, it's like if I'm fucking up and everything, they'll let me know. You know,
Check you. Yeah.
yeah, they'll check me. So it's like, you know, we need that. We need those people. You know, so
Oh, yeah.
when you have those people and all like that, man, keep those people close. Do any and everything you can for those people and all like that, man. And you know, the reward will be returned always, but I never look for a reward to be returned. You know, I think the biggest reward is the fact that the biggest reward for me is that they, you know, are in my life.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I'm able to be in theirs as well too, to, you know, just share these great moments and all like that, man. Like I said, those two were, you know, there, there for me since the beginning, since I met them and all, man. And like I said, they adopted me, so they got to deal with their hard-headed older brother. But yeah, it's some great artists, man. And also too, I gotta also make sure that I shout out a new friend of mine, man. Her name is Ye. She's a remarkable artist. I told her yesterday, you know, just about like when it comes to sharing her art, man. She does it. She really does it all, man. She's photographer. She's a photographer, watercolor artist, painter, everything. And dude, I told her, I said, because of course, like the people that I've been meeting and all, they're not on social media, which it's funny because we talked about it earlier. It's funny, all these people that I'm meeting that are great artists and just great people and all, they're not on social medias and all. They're not on socials at all. So I'm like, in one side of my brain, I'm like, damn, you're missing out on a lot. But then on the other side, it's like, damn, I know you have a lot of peace. You have a lot of peace that's going on. So, you know, I urged her to create at least a Tumblr because I still am that firm believer of, listen, if an opportunity comes up, just like, you know, with recently, you know, I shared with her, you know, hey, I have this opportunity, you know, but I want to know if you would also be, you know, open and able to contributing as well. And then, of course, out of respect, I had to make sure I asked, you know, my friend Eve about it and everything, which I did learn from that. The showcase that's coming up that she, you know, mentioned to me is an invite only. So I said, okay, well, I'm not going to send anything off, which I still haven't, you know. So Eve, if you're listening, nothing been sent. But I told my friend Ye, I said, look, you got to make you at least a Tumblr or something like that to have your work up, because if people want to see your work and everything, you can direct them to that. You know, doesn't have to be everything, but just, you know, things that speak to who you are as an artist, as a person. You know,
you need to develop a portfolio somehow online, which sucks, but you need it. Yeah.
Exactly. But then too, it's like even the beautiful thing about that, especially when it comes to like Tumblr and all, is, yeah, Tumblr's still big. Tumblr's still like heavily utilized and whatnot. But if you utilize it to a way to where you're not, you know, fishing for interaction and all, like you're not putting up hashtags and stuff like that, then you're good. It's literally just like a website, just about, you know.
Exactly.
So we were having a conversation about that, and I told her, I said, you know, do you want to put hashtags? And she was like, I said, hey, listen, you don't have to put them because they're not important. For me, it's just a habit thing, you know.
It's not the purpose of what this website is.
Yeah, at all, man. But, you know, it's like, you know, people are going to see it. People are going to, you know, you have people that usually like to, you know, get on, you know, socials or whatnot and search for hashtags and stuff like that to meet, you know, or to introduce themselves to other, like-minded artists and everything, whether you use the same type of camera, the same type of style and stuff like that. So, but yeah, her work is amazing, man. And, when I meet people along the way and I see like their greatness and that light within them and all, and it's, expressed, and like I said, they're open and whatnot. It's like, you gotta show this art off and all like that. You have to show this art off because you don't want to keep that stuff concealed, man. Because it's like that saying I said before: here today, gone tomorrow.
Don't hide your light. Don't hide your light.
No, you can't. Mm-mm. No, don't hide your light at all, man.
Don't dim the shine.
So yeah, it's beautiful to see, and now I can share with my friend Eve, her blog and stuff like that, so she can see her work and everything. And I really do want her to be a part of it as well too, because like I said, for someone that's not on socials and all, and whose work is great, whose vision is great, and all like that. Like she texted me this morning. It was like, I went on a freezing cold walk and took these photos, these like ice formations on the ground that looked like little ghosts, and I was like, that's amazing.
Hell yeah, girl.
That's just amazing. So to know too that I'm having an impact on someone, and various people at that. But when it's shared with me directly, like, hey, you inspired me, like, to get up and get out of my comfort zone, like, bearing the freezing cold and all like that, the elements and all like that, but for the sake of creativity, for the sake of art.
And they damn near have the best sort of launching platform. Be like, hey, I'm good at it. I'm skilled at it. I don't have a social media, though. You're probably actually at the best position to start one.
Yeah,
right
seriously, man. So, yeah, she's doing some great things, man. So, yeah, shout out to Ye, man. Ye's awesome. Ye's awesome.
You got an exhibition coming up that, invite only, so we're going to keep on the hush-hush. So we got something coming.
But, yeah, the information is going to be shared, as time gets closer and everything like that. Like I said, I'm just going through right now what I'm going to figure out of displaying and stuff like that. So the render exhibition was one piece. This next one is going to be at least 2 pieces and all like that, man. At least 2 pieces. And it's going to be more so, like, I think I'm going to definitely take my time with this one as well too and all. And pretty much just kind of have, like, it's going to be a lot more, as far as like what I select, it's going to be a lot more intentional, and again, it's gonna be, it's gonna be natural. It's gonna be true to myself. Like the piece for render was a true piece to myself as well too, and all. But this one here with this prompt and all, this specific prompt, it's really like screaming my name and all, and what I've already created and how I create and all that. So I'm super excited for this one, man.
And yeah, you've already been able to just think out the narrative of how you're gonna just take the story from you walking into the night. It's like, what am I gonna be?
Yeah. It's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. So I'm super excited, man, and I'm just thankful. I'm full of gratitude right now, man. From just all of the experiences and, like I said, the people I met along the way, connections and all like that, and just excited to see what all comes from it, man. And, like I told somebody the other night, they said, definitely want to get up and create with you and all like that. And just, people want to go deep into my mind of creativity and whatnot. And, like I told them, I said, man, look, my gift is your gift. That's something that I've always stuck by and I'm always carrying with me, is that, this gift that was given to me and all like that is not just for me. It's to be shared with other people, around me. And it's for the greater good always. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks for coming back, bro.
Thank you, man.
We'll put your socials. I'll plug them all. I'll put them up in the video and put them in the description and all that. And hit all the magic, bro. But
for sure.
Man, just thank you for doing it again and sitting back with me.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. On a cold ass day.
On a cold ass day.
Coming down here on a cold day.
I'm finna go out here and do some exploring and creating, man.
Good on you, bro. Hey, now you can holler at her and be like, hey, you gave me this energy. I was out here down on row and I'm kind of did the same thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, appreciate you, Harry. Appreciate you, bro.
man.
Thanks,
yes,
bro.
Sir.
Thanks, gang.
Thank you.